Good morning. Welcome to the Bearded Bama Bushcrafter. What's up, turkeys? It's been a while since I've made a video, so I thought I'd make a video. Say howdy. Kind of share with you guys some of the things I got going on around here. Got a lot of stuff going on. Got to stand by. Alright, I am in my garden. This is my Garden of Weedn. I've got to do some weeding this morning. I'm going to take this time to get down here. And boy, if the plants that I put in here for food purposes grew like the weeds, I would have food for everyone. But weeds and grass are a constant reminder of how we are not in control and how quickly you can lose control. Right now what I'm doing, I'm just down on my hands and knees pulling these weeds up by hand. I know it's a slower process getting a hoe and shovel, but sometimes I just like doing this just to kind of get down here and work in the gardening. It really just clears my mind. Concentrate on something else than the worries and troubles of day to day. But what I'm planning on doing is this area right here. I've got some okra that I'm going to put out. And here my corn, I'm going to put some squash in. I'm going to get some summer squash and zucchini squash, which summer squash is basically just your straight neck yellow. So I'm going to be doing that. And this will take me a bit, but I'll get it done. And I'll have this area cleared out, and then I'll put some plants in. We'll see how that goes. Alright, check this out. I did it in a quarter of the time compared to yesterday. So I've got the okra. It's hard to see the screen of my camera here. The sun. The beautiful sun. I'm going to get the okra in. And like I said, I'm going to put the squash in. I'm not doing what they call the three sisters. At least I don't think. Three sisters is corn, squash, and a type of a climbing bean. I do have some beans, but I haven't germinated those seeds yet. But I do believe in putting squash in amongst stuff, because you can kind of see here with how this has formed a canopy. You do see some weeds and grasses, but you don't see it like you do here. It crowds it out and shades it out. So it is good to have that among other plants, because the weeds compete for the nutrients that are in the soil. And it's unsightly too. I'm not a fan of weeds. I've read about people who do no-till gardens, and it's kind of a fascinating thing. But wow, that's got to be some hard work. And I have done raised beds before. Weeds get in everything we do. I just like having an open garden. I like to till. It's fun running a tiller. And there's still all kind of pests and things. No matter what you do, you just got to choose what you want to do, how much work you want to put into it, and that's what you got to go after. All right, check it out. Got a few plants in the ground. You can tell. Put the plants in the ground, they get happy. Going from these small containers to the earth. Man, they start stretching those roots out. Start feeding on what's in the soil. It's good for them. And it's good for me. Whew. This is the kind of labor I enjoy. Toiling in the garden. Alright, well, it's day 2. Let me show you guys what I've got some stuff that I started from seed. This is okra. This right here, these are 2 types of gourds. And this is squash. straight neck and zucchini squash. So I'm trying to do some weeding, having to do it in just little sections. In the morning times, it's starting to get warm here. We've been having some nice cool weather. It's kind of unusual for us this time of year. Normally it's already like just hot and miserable, but we've been blessed this year with some much cooler temperatures. So I'm going to do some more weeding, and then I'm going to put some of the okra in the ground today. Hopefully get to where I can put the squash in too. I'm going to put it in where the corn is. This is what I was able to do yesterday. I want to get that little section done, and then I'm going to get down through that way. But I'm going to put the squash in amongst the corn, and that'll help with ground cover and keep the weeds at bay. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, I'm getting a workout here this morning. I had forgotten about this tool, and I remembered it. So I'm trying it out. And let me show you if I can. Getting down, bending over, pulling these things out by hand. Some of these are real easy. I don't know if that's showing up good. But when you get down into like this, I don't know if that's crabgrass or what. And it's been raining, so the soil is pretty soft. But some of them, man, they're in good. Real good. This stuff right here, I think came out of the rabbit poop that I use for fertilizer. I've seen this before. I don't know the name of it. Some of it gets these real sharp spines, thorns. This is thornless, thank goodness. All right, so I went through with that tool there, the red claw, and man, it just really, look at this. It just makes it, now all I got to do is just shake, for the most part, just shake the dirt off the roots. Makes it a lot easier to move through here. That took me just a minute or so to go up and back down. Yesterday, that section right there was about 2 hours, which I, get out here and it's good to be in the garden. It's good therapy for me, but burns a lot of calories doing it that way. And it really doesn't matter because I'm gonna go eat. But I was thinking about something, a book that I've just started reading a series of called Black Autumn. Always reading these. I like these books about what if scenarios. And in this book, society collapses due to the banks and then a black swan event of a nuclear explosion off the coast of California. Y'all really ought to check the books out. They've been out, I think, a few years, since 2018. And one of the guys, that's co-author, he's a former Green Beret. And then the other guy is a big outdoor enthusiast and prepper. And in that book, I was reading about how they're having a garden. And, when everything's right, everything's good, you don't have to worry about your energy being exerted and then, refueling up. I can just go inside and drink some water, eat something, take a break, and then come back out here. But what if I didn't have the convenience of running water? I had to go to the creek, bring water up here, and then do everything by hand. That's going to burn a lot of calories. This tool is much easier than getting down on my hands and knees on this pad and pulling them up by hand. They have a little, and I had one at one time, I don't know what happened to it. It's called a Garden of Weedn. It was a small, I think a 2-cycle tiller. Man, that thing, I'd have this done in no time. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of money and buy me a new one of those, because that sure would help with the weeding. This is not normally what I allow to happen. I had an issue with my back and it put me down. Once again, something has happened, but I'm getting better. Just having to be careful. I think I overdid it with an exercise one night. I went too high in weight lifting than what I should have, and a couple days later I started developing some spasms in my lower back. But I'm better. I'm just having to slow down and rethink things. So I'm going to get back on this. I'm going to clean this up. Been down here now for about 5 minutes, and now it's just getting down, picking this stuff up and getting rid of it, and then I'll get the okra put in and the squash. That little tool really does a number. This whole section right here, 2 or 3 minutes compared to 2 hours, and it's almost the same size. The garden claw, I forgot I had that thing. But that little tiller that I remember having, the weasel, it was like a little 2-stroke. Man, that thing was fast. I'm gonna have to invest in one of those. But it's coming along. All I gotta do now, finish this little section here, then pull everything up, put plants in the ground. Then I gotta put some water on the garden. It hadn't rained in about 2 days, so. But wow, things are looking good. I'm gonna have to put some tape on my tomatoes over there. And already got some blooms on the eggplants. Cucumbers I need some harvesting here. Let me show you some of these cucumbers. Look at here. Oh yeah, that one's ready. There's a few other down in there. I got to get them out today. Some watermelons here. Trying to trellis them. And it's really the first time that I've trellised a watermelon, so it's a learning process for me. But I'm trying to build this little trellis here. My hopes have them up. Then I'll use some material to suspend the melon when they start blooming and growing, and that'll keep them supported. All right, thought I'd try to quickly show you how this tool works. Let's see if I can get it set up here where you can see it. I don't know how this footage will be. The sun is... All right, let's try it. Just simply put it in. Sometimes you have to take your foot and just twist. And it really breaks that soil. Look at that. Just pulls this stuff up. Some of you still have to pull a little bit, but because some of these things, they are embedded. Look at that root system. That of this grass. But these other things, man, they just come right up. Makes light work of it. I am so glad I remembered this tool. Making light work of it this morning. All right, boom. All this is ready to get cleaned up. Love it. So let me get that cleaned up. I was able to put 20 plants in. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 plants left. I've got room for them. I kind of take a mixture of this type of gardening and that type of gardening. Square Foot Gardening, that's a good book. Written by a very intelligent man. Talked about all the foods that you can grow in just a square foot. So I'm fixing to put the sprinkler on. Each one of those plants, I took the watering can and I put water directly on to where I put it in the ground, and that'll help push air pockets out and get those roots settled better. And then now I'm gonna put the sprinkler on and let it hit everything. And there's the garden, not there. Rain is much better, but I haven't had rain. It's been 2 days, I think, 2 or 3 days since we've gotten some rain. So it's time to put some water on it through the tap. Got the sprinkler on. Had a little air pocket that I had to push through. cool, refreshing, life-giving water. Drink it up. Still have all this to go. But man, I already feel good. Even though it's hard work, it's good work. It's good hard work. Earlier I was talking about a book, Black Autumn. Y'all check it out. It'll really make you think about how fortunate, how blessed we are. Man, I know there are some people who have this romantic idea about an apocalypse in the modern day where society collapses and we drop back to the 19th century. Man, that would be so scary, especially being a husband and a dad of, I got, getting tongue twisted, with my wife and my 4 children. And thinking of having to protect them and provide for them, and it's just pure chaos and people losing their minds. No, that doesn't sound fun to me. But the book, Black Autumn, not Black October, Black Autumn. Highly recommend it. I believe it came out in 2018. I'm going through the series now. I think there's 7 or 10 books. I'm on book 2, Travelers. And these stories are good on this what if scenario. I was thinking about it. I was in that garden. Man, what if this was truly our life support? We would not have enough food, that's for sure. Because then, as this stuff is harvested, you have to prepare it for long-term sustainability, canning. And because you won't have a freezer, you won't have a refrigerator. You'd have to can everything. And have y'all canned? It's been a while since I've canned. I'm going to do some canning later on this summer and put some stuff into storage. I'm going to take a break now from the garden. It's starting to get hot and I don't want to overdo it. Next step would be to get squash out. I've got some other stuff that I've got going up here in the little seed pots. Looking forward to doing that. I've had some of my friends been on me about not doing a video. I just really, I don't know, kind of lost a desire to do videos. Had a lot of stuff going on and I'd get out here, kind of like writer's block, I guess, and try to do a video and just kind of, you know, lose interest. But here's one for you guys. I hope y'all enjoy it. It's just, you know, about gardening. If you guys don't have a garden, get yourself a little garden going. It don't have to be something big. And get you a pot and have 2 or 3. You've got the pot big enough for 5-gallon buckets. I've got stuff up here in 5-gallon buckets. I'll show y'all that real quick. This is my little garden peppers. This was supposed to be what they call a lunchbox pepper, but it is a bell pepper, so it was mislabeled. This bell pepper is ready to harvest. Some Goliath jalapenos, mint, tomatoes, and here's some lavender. And the lavender's doing well. It's happy. Of course, we've got, I think this is purslane right here. This is it's an edible. I believe that's what it's called, purslane. And here's some clover, wood sorrel. That's edible, high in vitamin C. This stuff gets in there on its own. But guys, you could do this. It doesn't take much space. 7 little buckets, 5-gallon buckets I picked up here and there. Some dirt, and go by your hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, those types. They sell all kind of plants. Get yourself a little garden going. It's good for your soul, I'm telling you. I feel good already, much better. And if you have a place like this, get you a tiller. Put your garden in the ground. You can do raised beds. Look into the no-till gardens. That's real primitive. I don't really understand how that works, but because you go in the woods, there's all kind of things growing. You don't have to have an area where sunlight gets to your plants, because these plants that produce fruit and vegetables will not grow in shade and produce. They need 6 to 8 hours or more of sunlight. Minimum of 6 hours. Got to have that if you want to have healthy plants. And you got to be able to water them well and put fertilizer on. I used rabbit manure. It's a cold compost. You can take it right out and put it in. But from the feed there's seeds that pass through their intestines and into the poop, and I'm dealing with that now. But you know, you're always going to be doing something. If you put a garden out, you got weeds. That is going to be a constant thing. So that's the struggle. But you know, hey, it's good for you to get out and do stuff like that. All right, everybody, hope y'all enjoy this video. Y'all take care, and hopefully y'all have a great weekend. See you next time.